right, and we're going to get ready for our next set, as they are too. I'm sure Outplayed's going to be back, and they're going to be playing that team from round one of this week, uh, Play for Fun, who did fight Team Voltaic to a 1-1 tie. So, any predictions for this one? Voltaic. So last week, Voltaic swept Outplayed. Then Voltaic went 1-1 for PFF. Now, if you're just going off the scores, it seems that Play for Fun has the advantage, but there's different strategies, different team compositions, and sometimes you can take a game that you don't mean to or lose a game off of a miscommunication. How do you think this PFF versus Outplayed is going to go?
Before I answer that question, Restart, when have you played Atlas Reactor specifically? I want a time and a date where you did not intend to win the game.
I don't understand the question. Come on.
Yeah. We'll skip it. We'll skip it. Watch the VOD later. You'll
Yeah.
understand. So
What?
basically, I think Outplayed going off of this sweep has the advantage just basically on momentum factor. Um, Obviously, Play for Fun, they've had a little bit of a break between round one and round three, so they've been settling down. They're not hyped up anymore, perhaps. But at least probably the nerves are back down as well. So maybe they're calm, cool, and collected going into round number three.
Yeah, neither team was playing well the other team was playing, so they both had a chance to catch the games of their opponent. Neither one's coming in blind. They both warmed up. They both saw how the opponent played, and they both can maybe adjust their strategies around this. So this is a game you might not see that scared opening. You might not see the generic bans. You might see a little bit more focus on exactly what people are going to do this week. You might see a little bit more skewed Mac picks, and you might see a really close game here. Again, the all the stats point to the fact that these teams are going to be very evenly matched.
Yeah, I mean, I would expect nothing less. Play for Fun is a solid lineup. They've got, strong players all the way around the horn. Of course, we just saw Outplayed 2-0 just shoot them. So, I mean, they're obviously in a good place right now as well. So, I mean, and of course, we're always looking for the good matchups. We always look for the splits so nobody feels bad. They go home with 0 points for that round. And we want to see good games. So that kind of goes along with that as well. If we
Yeah,
had,
and I want to see chat too. I want to see chat tell us what their predictions are.
that's
You
right.
guys, you know them, you love them. You've seen Outplayed last season. Somewhat of a team with an outspoken personality and a lot of solid plays. Play for Fun, jumping into the scene and just dominating week one, splitting the first game. Was that loss a fluke? And are they going to go on to victory? Are you guys instantly converted fans? Or do you think that they have such potential that they could go on? Or was it the schedule that they faced, and is Outplayed going to come on the victor? Tell us your picks. Outplayed versus PFF. Get them in now before the game starts, as we're getting these two teams ready to go.
Inquiring minds want to know. What do you guys think all the way around the horn? Now, we're on Twitch, is obviously myself and Restart. Over on the YouTube channel, that's youtube.com/prepphase. Oh, no, it's not. My goodness. It's got a long string of characters, doesn't it? But you can search for
Yeah,
Prep
you guys
Phase.
cannot.
Yeah.
So you can't go to straight to YouTube/Prep Phase because it's a newer channel. They aren't able to lock down that name yet. So we
Yeah.
need your help and your love. Go ahead, subscribe, favorite, like everything, and really get those videos out there. But if you just go to YouTube and type in Prep Phase, the videos will come right up, and the channel name is Prep Phase, so that'll come right up for you guys. So if you want to watch videos from any of the past weeks, you can go to that YouTube channel, and all the Twitch specific games will be on Twitch, but every game will be on YouTube.
Absolutely. Thank you for saving me there, Restart. So what I was getting at there is round three over there on YouTube. While we're going to showcase Play for Fun versus Outplayed, as you see there on your screen right now, they're going to showcase their last round of the night of YOLO Synthesis versus COTP. So, I mean, that's going to be a great game. I'm excited to see the VODs from the YouTube side because we don't get to see YOLO Synthesis yet over here until they get posted up. So, man, I'm
Yeah,
excited
that's
to see
kind of
that
an
team.
unknown variable, and not a lot of people know how they're going to do. So that'll be a very interesting one to check out if you guys want to see a new team. Really show off, hey, have we put together the greatest players in the world that nobody knew of? Or is this going to be a learning experience for a lot of people to try and get settled? We've seen both this season. We've seen new teams come out sweeping vets, and we've seen new teams come out and just get swept and then move to ties as they learn the ropes.
Yeah, and one of the very important factors to remember here is, I mean, you can put the best players in the world of a certain game together on the same team, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to do well. That just means they're good individually. They might not have any team synergy, and you see like maybe less skilled players that have really high team synergy, just taking them out week after week. So that's a nice little storyline to keep in mind here. You know, it's not necessarily the best of the best that get thrown together and win it all. It's the ones that work best together.
Yeah. And of course, they're all gunning for that combination of the two. It seems like last season, Trash had the super advantage in both cases, and teams are chasing that undefeated perfect record. There's a couple people that so far have been on track for that, and we saw people last week actually switch days as either your team can sign up for either day, Saturday or Sunday. So we've seen teams that have gone very strong in their day actually do a different day later in the season to try and face teams they wanted to get experience against for the finals. So while these teams are building on their favorite days right now, don't be surprised if your favorite team swaps specifically to try and get a game against some of the teams that they really want experience against before the final tournament, because these leagues lead up to a massive final tournament with some awesome prizes on them. So don't forget that it's not just the league play. Sometimes you might want to face a hard, even if it doesn't mean 3 points, to get that experience to be able to beat a team later on.
Yeah, you kind of sometimes you don't get that scrimmage that you want against them. You know, maybe they just say no, we're not going to play you unless it's in the actual weekend or in the actual tournament, and we don't want to show you anything because we know that you're coming for us. It's the same story happened last season toward the end there with Guy Logic and Trash. They were both undefeated up until the last weekend of the season. Going into the tournament the next week, a couple weekends later, Guy Logic decided they wanted to face off against Trash, and you know, unfortunately, it blew up in their face. Trash 2-0'd them and went on to win the tournament, but that's the guts that they had. They said, you know, we don't know. This is what everybody wants to see. Let's go ahead and do it now. Let's not have to wait.
Yeah, absolutely. It's still anybody's game, and it's still, the Saturday players and the Sunday players haven't matched up. The stronger from one side might be in mid level on the other. We're still waiting to see where everything comes out as new teams are still joining. Rosters can still change up until week 3, and new teams can join at any point.
Yeah, I wanted to
We've
mention this earlier and I forgot. So thank you for reminding me, Restart. If you think at this point going into, you know, week number 3 next weekend, you're not going to have enough time to keep up in points with these big time teams and get into the tournament, that's not true. Cookie Cutters, a season 1 veteran, season 2 playing tomorrow, I'm sure that they will be, is basically they entered a few weeks into season number 1. So they were a late entry and they ended up in the tournament at the end. They were the top 6 teams. So it's never too late until you're probably past about the halfway point, I would say.
All right, so we're ready. We've got Play for Fun and we've got Outplayed, and we're going to get them into a draft right now. And we're going to get you guys these final games for this Saturday session. So get hyped, get ready, because this is going to be a good one. All right, we've got the teams ready and rolling. Excuse me, as they start the draft out. And like I said, I think this is going to be a little bit more focused. These teams have had a chance to scout out the other team. They've had a chance to both get settled and play and realize how their team's really doing today, how their synergy and team compositions are working. So I would be very surprised if it just went straight down the book.
I would have to agree. Of course, we've seen both of these teams before, but just to make sure you remember, or if you're a late entry to today's stream like Cookie Cutters was last season, Play for Fun is headed by Penta, and along with Nelman, Honey Badger, and Grizz for this matchup. Of course, they do have more, as Restart pointed out. Every team can have up to 6 members. Outplayed, of course, we just saw them. Road, the captain, Ash, Jackie, Baby Millie, and Etheria rounding out their side. And we're going to see Flyway.
All right, we've got Flyway coming out right off the bat. That means that you've got these champions, as we heard in the interview earlier. They love the long range champions. They love the champions that can hit from far away. And so these grays, you're going to see Vanderpicked, Lockwoods. You're probably going to see Nyx Vanderpicked. Of course, Celeste can just roam the map, taking power-ups left and right because there's so many on this map. Due to the size, there's actually 4 health instead of 3 health or 2 health like some maps have. So definitely a strong pick for Celeste. And you could just go right down the ban list. Flyway has some very strong picks.
Yeah, there's not too many people not too many freelancers, I should say, that don't do well on Flyway. Blackbird kind of comes to mind. He's more of an up close and personal freelancer, but a lot of them just shine. Like, the pup who can sneak up behind your team, or the Celeste who can pick up all the power ups. But we're going to see a gray.
Very unlikely we'll see somebody like an L, who is sometimes a pick on the smaller maps, has been played before.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm unable to see the draft page, so I'll try and get that, but it is all on you, Lawson.
All right. So basically, Play for Fun, the home side, banned out Lockwood, Outplayed banned Helio, as you guys can see there at home. But Outplayed picks up Gray as their first pick, and Play for Fun follows that up with a Gremolitions, along with a Celeste. So very strong firepower pickups for Play for Fun. Outplayed, of course, sitting on that Gray, so, I mean, she does extremely well on these bigger maps. The AoE, the zone control that she can throw down is excellent. And we're going to see Outplayed gets their next pickups. So it's going to be interesting. Do they pick up that support or the frontliner? Make sure they get the best one that they can for their comp.
Yeah, I'm back in, and it looks like we haven't seen a 3 firepower composition yet in this week 2, so it seems unlikely it would come out here, especially with the Gremolitions on your team and with the Gray on the other team. So Outplayed is fine to pick up other freelancers and save their firepower pick for last. They want that Asana right now, or they could have picked up a support as well, but definitely the better pick right now is to go ahead and pick up one of those support or frontliner roles and save that firepower. You don't need to pick it up right away right now.
Yeah, absolutely. The Play for Fun's kind of shown their firepower hand, so you can take your time getting the other one. Asana, she blew everybody else out of the water as far as frontliners are concerned with her pick frequency from last week in the week number 1. Everybody wanted her on the team. She was never banned, so she was picked almost every game, in fact. Looks like a Finn is going to come out for Play for Fun to round out their support, so they wanted to lock down that support and force Outplayed into possibly someone that they're not too familiar with, maybe.
Yeah, well, they know they didn't want another firepower, and the frontliner for Outplayed's already chosen, and 2 frontliners, one of the less common. I mean, there's a lot of viable compositions at the high-level play. 3 firepower is often seen, double support's often seen. Double frontliner is seen a little less often, so they felt pretty safe leaving that till last, letting Outplayed go ahead, because they were sure they weren't going to pick up the Rask if they already have the Asana there. And this is Outplayed's double pick, so after immediately picking up this Aurora, they'll get another chance in what we assume is going to be a firepower here. Nyx and Zuki both still open, both very highly valued on this map. Although teams have been practicing with Oz, and Blackburn does have that global ultimate, so there really are some choices left.
There's no way you cannot pick Zuki. Whenever she's available, I think she's first pick worthy. In fact, there she is right there.
You cannot pick Zuki. But I'm sure teams have other choices, but there they go. They did pick Zuki.
And a Titus.
And Titus comes out from the other side for that final frontliner. And so you've got both teams set up and ready to roll on this one. Interesting that they did not go with the Knicks on either team, but still very strong picks for this map. You've got the traditional, I mean, Gray, Gremolitions, Celeste, Zuki, all favorites on here. They did decide to go with Titus over Rask, so a lot of teams are moving a little bit away from Rask. People have learned to deal with Rask and might be overcompensating to really shut out Rask, and that's opening up room for Titus to really shine in some of these games.
Well, Pepper Titan would be pleased that Titus is valued higher than Rask, it seems, at least on the Twitch stream here today. 2 times Titus has been picked up when Rask is available so far tonight. So I'm sure he is squealing with glee wherever he is right now. His Titus senses are tingling. He knows what's happening, even without having to watch it. He's probably watching though. But I don't know. Zuki's probably going to be gunning him down here.
Well, we'll see. They've got a lot of damage on both sides. Definitely the burst damage favors Outplayed a little bit more. But PlayForFun also has the support that likes to do a little bit more damage. That Finn can get up to 25 on his basic attack in a very tight cone if modded correctly. So everybody on PlayForFun does at least a little damage, and they've been known to spread some out. They can split up their damage very well if they want to, if 2 targets are low, and cover a lot of ground between Gremolicious and Celeste. The 2 of them alone can split up their attacks into 4 different targets, let alone Finn Spray and then Titus dashing and throwing his daggers all over the place. There was just nowhere safe to get away from PlayForFun.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they decide to do with their positioning, because they can either go super aggressive and take the risk of just being slaughtered as they come in, or try to stay back and play defensive and let them come to them, let them come in and walk into their damage. So it's going to be, I mean, that's one of the hardest decisions for me anyway, as far as when a match starts. Do I want to stay back? Do I want to get up in front, and try to front load some damage in the first couple of turns? But that's why I'm sitting here. I'm not them, and I'm not that good.
We did see earlier today Azuki that was staying out of the battle and missed out on a lot of damage earlier on, and ultimately that combined with the rushing in of some other characters on their team, just the split and not being able to do damage even while being safe, led to some very harsh initial turns. So it's a very fine line with some of these firepowers. But Zuki especially needs to be close in to be able to hit multiple targets at once.
4,
Gray's only ever
Yeah.
going to hit one person. As long
2,
as one person's in
1.
range, it's all they're going to hit with their basic. But Zuki can hit more, and the closer you are, the more options you have.
Absolutely. If you're in the fray, you've got stickies everywhere. You've got that basic attack that can go. And we're going to get in the game. Look at those banners, man. Who has the advantage now? Absolutely nobody. They're both on the same page.
Both teams very well coordinated. Shows they spent time outside of the map, outside of the match. They didn't just show up today and go, okay, let's play a game. They practiced as a team. They went ahead and said, hey, what banners? What would practice? What banners are we going to do? Hey, what's our pick orders going to be? It just shows the little things that you do when you spend time as a team and when you have team
Your
practices.
team is ready.
Preparations for other teams. So it looks like this game is going to get underway. If you guys are just joining us, it is PlayForFun, who went 1-1 earlier today, versus Outplayed, who went 2-0 earlier today in a nice victory. We do have Pinta is leading up the PlayForFun blue team with Grizz, Nelman, and Honey Badger. And over on the other side, red team is Outplayed, led up by Road, and also starring Baby Mill, Atharia, which we just interviewed, as well as Ass Jackie.
All right, guys. Looks like they kind of went off to the same sides there. So excellent start here. We might see one of those train wreck starts on turn number 3 after this move phase is done, where they just slam into one another. That's what I like to see. Good old-fashioned slobber knocker to start things off here in game number 1.
Well, we've been seeing traditionally the Gremolition side always goes towards the tunnel. That's just been happening all day, and it depends on if you want to engage them or not. But if you're going to throw out initial attacks, that's where you want to go. Road and their team are doing it, but look at how tight and how back the rest of the PlayForFun team is. They really want to stay in the rear, and unfortunately, that's going to mean Ash Jackie is so far out of the battle They're not going to hit this turn and maybe next turn because they want to go in, but there's still been no vision. So they might force Outplayed to spread out so far that they can then get a massive flank. We'll see exactly how these teams respond as we go into this next turn.
Yeah, I think if Play for Fun can kind of turn the corner there and get behind Etheria, perhaps they can really create some chaos. They're going to start showing up. Their last nodes are going to start beginning to show, and all of their last nodes are on there as well. We look from last turn, so Outplayed kind of has an idea where they're at, but not where they went to. Looks like, and it's getting close to starting, I think.
That is a brave move by Ash Jackie moving out into the center, and it really shows how confident they are that the other team is going to flank this hard. The fact that Ash Jackie is in the center of the map with no cover except from one very edge of the map.
Oh, Nelman dashing in on Etheria, so first blood goes to Titus there, getting the damage on the support. Nobody dying, of course. That's just my little joke. And nothing else happening, just some repositioning.
Yeah, they predicted that. Ash Jackie got the shot. Etheria trapped him. Not only did damage this turn, but also will deal damage in the second turn with this Ion Cloud. And everybody moved into position. A very quick, very decisive reaction from Team Outplayed means that our Play for Fun is going to have to really try and make up some positioning here as they're left out in the open.
Wow, a lot of shields going out onto Nelman. 40 from Dr. Finn and 35 from himself for the Turtle Tech, or 30 from himself from the Turtle Tech. The weaken coming out, though, onto Penta and Nelman from Etheria, and, of course, the darts as well. So, like a double weaken coming out. A little bit of a miscommunication, perhaps. Wanted to hold on to one of those. Might have been better for next turn to have that. But it does stop Nelman from doing that massive double damage there with that big sword. A double root coming out of Baby Millie. He loves doing that move, keeping two individuals in there, and that they're right on top of Suzuki Big One as well, so they can't get out for the next turn. They got to stand there, got to dash, got to kata, got to do something to survive.
And that's the combo you want. If you have a Suzuki on your team, you want a root or a throw, because if you can put somebody in the middle of a big one, especially somebody without a natural dash, you're almost certainly forcing out the Catalyst dash or massive damage and energy gain. Either way, it's a win for your team.
Penta looks like he's going to eat this damage. That's 50 damage for the middle square of that big one there. Baby Millie dashing around. Road going to throw down some cluster bombs on top of that. A 3-man cluster bomb hit because of the Celeste dash. There's that 50 damage we talked about. 20 only on Nelman, but man, they took a super ton of damage that turn. Didn't seem to even bother them. The Eel's going down to Etheria. Nelman wants to get a slash down as well with that big sword from Titus, and Grimo coming into the action as well. Etheria taking the brunt of the damage, but to be honest, Play for Fun taking most of it for that turn.
And don't forget, Play for Fun has these bombs on top of them, and it's deceptive because right now you think, oh, I have this much health, and you have to realize that Nelman's actually at about 35, Pinta's at about 90 or about 60, even Grizz is only at about 90 because these bombs are going to go off. If they had a way to give Road might this turn, they'd also increase in damage as well. So this is what we mean by front loading some damage all for a single turn.
Yeah, Zucamania is about to run wild, man. It almost went crazy last turn with that big one, but the stickies plus the basic is going to do a lot of damage. Oh, Nelman actually misses Road, tries to get in there, but Grizz does not. The Celeste double hit coming down. Penta taking a bit of cover bonus, cover damage reduction there from Ash Jackie, but there's that triple hit sticky bomb and a single hit on Grizz with the basic. Eels are going to fly over to Baby Millie. It's not going to scare him away too much. They're very, very healthy frontliner. And Ash Jackie going to have a bad time running over that mine that Grimo just dropped down.
Yeah, unfortunately, the indicator for Titus sometimes isn't 100% at exactly where, or maybe Nelman just changed at the last second, but definitely a very finicky thing to get very corner shots on, so wasn't able to get the hit last turn. But the story here, Pinta staying in one spot, backed up by Honey Badger. We've seen these Gremolitions sit back and do massive damage, but we've also seen them still lose the game, so they need to figure out a way to stay safe and keep applying damage.
Ooh, a weakened shout on the road. That's going to help out for this turn. And a double hit on that dirty fighting dagger. Baby Millie's already getting popped thanks to the Celeste. Going to get a little bit of damage down onto Penta's Finn, but man, Nelman is in a big time load of trouble right now. The Celeste trap does pop on the road, but not going to be enough. And since it is not a new form of damage on the map, it did not pop dirty fighting, by the way.
And there isn't active versus passive difference, and you'd be wise to figure that out yourselves if you're not familiar with it, as it helps so much versus reflect damage. Just wanted to point out though, Jackie actually got the ult slightly before Road. This bird has been in an excellent position to catch multiple people each turn. They're hitting every ability on cooldown, and just the massive energy gain means that they're in a solid position, whereas Nelman has ult, but it's behind cover when they're trying to use this.
Yeah, Nelman could ult, but he would hit a wall straight away. So Road gonna throw out that Zuki ultimate, prime it up for this turn. A little bit later, oh, Baby Millie dashing in onto Nelman. That's gonna be the end of him, but he does ultimate anyway. Oh, he does hit Road, pops his own dirty fighting. It does hit Baby Millie as well thanks to that dash, but he's gonna suffer and go down thanks to the Zuki ultimate. Rose sitting on 7 HP after that. Penta 17, so a lot of people getting super low. Grizz gonna be stuck inside that gray ult. Voltaic Cage. Oh, and Road's gonna go down to a basic attack from Dr. Finn. Honey Badger throwing Road as well, so getting in on the action there. 1-1, but man, Grizz just walks through the Voltaic Cage, and Penta's super low as well.
I'm sure Road is fine with that death. They did 180 damage with just their ultimate in that one turn. Already at 400 damage, which is an end-of-game stat. Definitely propping up this team. Penta still hasn't moved from this spot in the middle and may get punished. Yes, they're taking reduced damage from cover every turn, but there's only so much you can take.
Yeah, sometimes you just find that spot that you like. I've done that a couple times, but I haven't stayed there very much longer because they do tend to start rooting you out eventually. Penta's shielding himself up there, trying to avoid the damage. Baby Millie of missing because Grizz did Catalyst Dash into that camouflage node. Jackie's still picking away at Penta. Doesn't care. You're going to stand there. Oh, Etheria with the Ion Cloud. Probably didn't predict the Cata Dash, but it was luckily finished off the Celeste.
Just figuring out spots the enemy might want to go to, and spots, as well as I'm sure range was an issue there, but Baby Mill also had a great opportunity there and a great move where they would have found anyways, because they're checking all the stealth squares, and if you think your opponent might use a catalyst or use a dash, it's always great to just take a little sidestep into a stealth square like that, and then you can tell exactly where they are if they're low.
Oh man, Nelman respawns and immediately comes back in on Jackie, who did leave the center of the map finally, but now finds himself stuck between a wall and a Titus. Honey Badger's going to taunt up that Grimolition's ultimate. Who's it going to go onto? Jackie's going to go down to it, and 38 more collectively onto Baby Millie and Etheria. But is it going to be enough? Etheria throws down the Aurora ultimate, heals up Jackie to 7. And Penta's down to 1 HP with it. Rio the drone is going to finish the job. So, man, Jackie's surviving by the skin of his teeth thanks to Etheria.
Unfortunately, that drone is not a good spot to dash to right now. So Jackie may either elect to use a catalyst or take the death here, but that would be a very risky move, jumping into the middle of that drone in the middle of the team. Nice coverage by the enemy team, and the slow that turn, preventing Jackie from where they wanted to go.
Well, Baby Millie anticipating a bit of damage here, throwing up that shield on Asana. Honey Badger throwing the Splore down around him, trying to stop Asana from chasing with any amount of success. Going out some mines, not hitting anybody. Grizz trying to, I suppose, predict the dash from Asana. Honey Badger's going to get rooted into place, though, and hit by a basic attack from Etheria. And Road is going to finish the job, actually, and just end Grimolition's string over there. It's 4-1 in favor of Outplayed for game number 2. Or game number 1, I'm sorry.
And only turned 13, and Jackie's already almost halfway to an ult. Road about a third of the way as well. The rest of the team starts to have theirs on both sides, or is just getting back up. So we're looking forward to about 2 or 3 more turns of positioning and poking, and then some big ultimates coming out.
There's one of those big ultimates right now. Baby Millie actually getting healed up in preparation of the ult dash. Onto Nelman, picks up the health globe as well. Denying that, Nelman getting straight up shot in the face by Road, but Road takes some return damage from Grizz's Celeste trap that was placed there a couple of turns ago. Oh, Nelman going to get a double hit with the sword. Nice damage, but he is going to be denied that health again. He's going to be knocked back, not where he wanted to go. Ash Jackie using that second wind, getting that 15 health this turn and the next. He's going to be liking that.
Definitely a great team plan that time. They had Etheria throw the heal onto Baby Mill, not because they were particularly low, but because they keep Nelman in a spot. They make him either focus the tank or use that dash to get out of the way, in which case he can't use it to save himself. And then they go ahead and they shield a lot of damage from Road, who was really the focus of that turn, while at the same time not exposing Baby Mill to anything but Nelman.
Man, they are just running Nelman around the track right now, dashing onto someone who just dashed out of the way. Road leaves, and he just gets past Baby Millie. He was weakened anyway, so maybe that was a wasted weaken there. But they didn't know where he was going to go. He could have just basic attacked Baby Millie.
And now they have a good idea of exactly where Road is, simply because they moved into all the stealth squares nearby. So unless Road catalysted or jumped behind, and I think their sight covered all the rest of the areas, they really could have only jumped to the stealth squares in the middle.
Whatever it takes.
All right, Nelman getting another double dirty fighting off. Baby Millie gonna go through that energize and bounce off of Nelman. Is gonna avoid that damage, but the dirty fighting and the ultimate from Celeste is gonna hit Etheria straight away for tons of damage this round. Road, you're gonna try to sticky bomb it up, only gonna hit Nelman, so that's not the ideal target. Ion Cloud gonna hit him as well for 20 this turn. 30 is gonna be the next turn for Road stickies. Etheria going for the ride, 25 more, getting knocked around by the Grimolitions, trying to keep that support in an inopportune position.
And exactly what happened to Nelman just a few turns before is happening to Etheria now, except when Nelman was out by themselves, now Ash Jackie, Baby Millie, and Road are in a great position to support, and Nelman is left in the middle of multiple members of the enemy team. Will they focus outward on the support right in front of them, or will they all turn and hit the same person, knowing they could catalyst out?
Etheria, of course, going to use that big 40 heal on herself. Now the scream and the weaken coming out from Nelman's Titus. Ash Jackie going to weaken him right back along with the Grimolitions with that Grey Dart. Another Celeste trap in the same exact position it was in a few turns back. There's that sticky bomb popping onto Nelman, but he does get a double shot onto Etheria and Ash Jackie, but he does get a lot of return fire coming in. Rio's going to help out a little bit. Road hit those stickies and a basic. The Penta going to throw out the eels onto Baby Millie and pop the dirty fighting. Baby Millie taking a lot of damage himself this round from all sides. Honey Badger's still not done yet. The Grimo bombs going off. Everybody's getting in on the action at turn 16.
The weekend doing so much health, and look at this scoreboard right now. It might not seem it, but incremental kills have put Outplayed to a 4-1 lead. So now PlayForFun has to do everything they can simply to not die, and Outplayed can go out on a limb to try and get a single kill. They can just pick somebody, and if anybody's left out in the open, kill them immediately. It doesn't matter if they take 2 or even 3 kills, as long as they get 1.
All right, a lot of Catalyst dashing and a Honey Badger going on a ride himself, eating that basic attack from Road, trying to body block for his frontliner, which is the opposite of what normally happens. Nelman had the bubble from Finn as well. He is going to ult and catch Ash Jackie with one of the outside corners of that ult for 35 damage, and Rio's going to come back around, try to do a little bit more. Oh, Nelman still getting close to death there, thanks to Ash Jackie's Gray.
3 turns left.
Etheria had a smart, just a 2-spot dash, but it got them out of the ultimate range and into the cover. Unfortunately, I do believe Nelman clipped the critter, so does know where Etheria is right now with the last known position indicators. Could be the next death, but they still have to keep Nelman alive or they lose the game.
Yeah, Nelman definitely has the last known position, but do they know if it's correct or not? That's the question. Nelman actually catalysting away, as does Road on the Zuki over on Outplayed side. Maybe really going to eat a few more mines from Honey Badger flying through the air there. The on cloud for Etheria trying to take out Nelman, but he is long gone at this point. Baby Millie trying to root him as well. I think that would have been the death of Nelman had he stayed to fight Etheria.
2 turns left.
And now he's got Dash Track up, and they've actually brought Outplayed pretty low. So they definitely have a chance to go ahead and make up 3 to 4. I mean, nobody's above 60 health on their team. Most of their team below 30. This is definitely a pretty healthy Play for Fun's team's chance to come back, assuming they can keep Nelman alive, which they're doing a good job of.
Yeah, and they've successfully scared Ash Jackie completely out of the match. He's over in the corner just sulking, it looks like. Bent over, looking at the wall. Here comes Rhodes' ultimate, but it's only going to hit Penta now because of the dash out by the Titus. Baby Millie trying to do a bit of damage, and Penta's very healthy. 51 damage is not going to be enough. Ash Jackie throwing out Rio once again, but only able to move it a couple of squares over. Honey Badger with the Dremel ult, going to take out Road. Almost take out Baby Millie. If that shield wasn't there, he was going down. But he goes down anyway. That's a 2-kill swing for Just for Fun. That's 3 to 4 now in favor of Outplayed.
1 turn remaining.
And now they have to be a lot less aggressive. They were really trying for that kill, but there was some smart play by Play for Fun to really bring this back hard. I'm sure that Ash Jackie and Etheria can get healed up pretty quickly, but Finn's there to protect his team. Nelman's actually looking pretty healthy, and they can actually try and re-engage while the rest of Outplayed is going to be dead or respawning and try and get a quick kill.
Oh, Dirty Fighting just missing. Didn't quite have the range to get to the Gray. Probably didn't know exactly where Gray was either. Penta, no idea where anybody is, just throwing out that basic attack, trying to get a lucky shot. But here comes Ash Jackie taunting that Voltaic Cage onto Nelman. Knew exactly where that tank was, but does he go anywhere? It doesn't look like it. So, oh man, but the win goes to Outplayed anyway over Play for Fun, but that's only game number 1, folks.
It felt like that game wanted to go more turns. There was going to be an epic ending in a few turns, but they were wisely able to stay alive and just able to pull out the win, ultimately staying a little bit safe in the end. You know, they had Etheria and Ash Jackie over in the corner. They were able to give up a kill, and they didn't have to look for the final one. They started looking for it, and as soon as they started taking deaths, they say, let's not give them the tie. Let's back up, play safe. It worked out great for them as they managed to get the win. And, I mean, such a strong performance early on by both Road and Ash Jackie. Super early ultimates, tons of damage, very strong. On the other side, though, Nelman being able to stay alive so long, especially with the help of Pinta, really helped almost bring that game back from the brink.
Yeah, taking 617 damage on the Titus and only dying 1 time. That is ridiculous. He starts out with 200, so he took more than 3 times his health bar that game and only died 1 time. So that's a very good team effort to keep him alive, and also very smart plays on his part to just be in those positions where he can take less damage than he would be lethal. So very good job there. I wanted to point that out, so thank you for bringing that one up. But I think the big story is Road, 617 damage on the Zuki. You mentioned it earlier, had 400 damage early on in the game before the halfway mark. Just, I mean, was knocking out the damage left and right.
But 2 deaths as well, we mentioned that. The closer Zuki gets, the more she can find the extra damage, but it gets to be really risky play. And, I mean, if you divide this out, you're actually only doing 300 damage per life in this one. So, very strong performance. If Zuki can manage to, if they can manage to find less deaths while keeping up the damage and just those little saving plays to be able to keep people alive, they're going to sweep this. But if it goes this close again and they can just avoid the ultimates or not give quite as much energy game, maybe get some unstoppables, predict the combos, roots, and the traps, or flash out of that big one. I mean, that was a big hit Pinta took early on. They had to dedicate a lot of resources to keeping Pinta alive. That if they didn't have to do that, maybe they could have kept some other people alive and turned the game around. So little adjustments can make a big change coming up in the second game.
Yeah, just a couple different decisions here and there as a team, and I think you're correct. I mean, that was a totally different ball game. So we're looking at game number 2. I mean, Outplayed was in command of game number 1 for the majority of the match. I mean, they were sitting at 4-1 in score for at least 5 or 6 turns there that I noticed. They were just sitting there, not really trading back any kills, staying as healthy as they possibly could. But then that one turn turned it around for PlayForFun, and they made that double kill to bring it to 3-4. But just
Yeah,
not enough in the end.
As close as a 3-4 game sounds, and as close as it might seem, you're absolutely right. The fact is, Outplayed had command, went aggressive to try and finish out the game before the other team could do anything. And as soon as they realized we've got 2 turns left, they got some kills. Let's not even give them a way back into the game, even if we end it quicker. Let's just go ahead and win. They were in the driver's seat. It was their game to lose at that point.
Yeah, no, we are in round number 3 restart.
Yes.
Are you familiar with the number that comes after 3?
Am I familiar with it? Yes. 4?
Yeah, 4. Now, have you heard lately that we're going to have a 4th place prize at the end of Season 2's tournament?
I have not.
Oh my. Well, perhaps I shouldn't have brought it up then.
Okay, well, apparently we're having a 4th place prize. if that's correct, hey, awesome.
Yeah. Wow, that's kind of awkward at this point. Can we delete the last 20 seconds of the VOD maybe right now?
I'm sure that everybody will find out eventually. But all right, so I'm sure everybody was expecting. Last season we had some prize support coming at the end. And so, well, we haven't had anything set in stone this season. The teams are playing ultimately because they want to play for the fun. But hopefully there will be something at the end for them. I don't believe we've announced exactly what yet.
No, I have no idea what it would even be. I just know there's going to be a 1, 2, and 3 and 4th place prize now. So it's even better once you actually get into the tournament. There's only going to be 2 teams that just kind of play for respect in the end, and 4 of them are going to get something nice out of it. So a little bit better.
Well, there's that Lothan's bomb for you. You've heard of PG bombs, but there you go.
At least I didn't drop the traditional PG bomb. I would probably be fired.
That's all right. As we've got this next game, teams are just decompressing from the last game, getting ready for this one. PlayForFun, after sweeping all last week, tied earlier in this week, and now has a chance to tie again. They don't want to get swept out. I'm sure that they're not used to this. They swept everybody first week, and now they're just getting ties. But these are a higher caliber of opponent. These are not brand new teams. We haven't known for sure how the other teams perform, but these are proven entities, and this is being tough. Outplayed, on the other hand, after being swept and sweeping week 1, has come out swinging this week. Last round, they beat JSE, and this round, they're looking to repeat the same performance on PlayForFun. And they're looking to say, no, guys, week 1, that was all the scheduling against weak teams, strong teams. We're actually the team to beat, as they have been marching through and are on track. They've won what now?
Change is a smoking gun.
They've won 5 of the 7 games they've played so far. This will be 8. If you can go 6 for 8, well, that is a strong record.
Yeah, no doubt. Especially being one of the newer teams showing up here. I mean, my goodness, nobody really expected much out of these guys until the end of week number 1, when they started destroying everybody and showing up for their games,
Oh, I was actually talking about Outplayed right there.
Oh, I'm very sorry.
That's right, but it's exactly the same thing. Goes for PlayForFun. PlayForFun has also won 5 games. They're also looking to make it 6 for 8. So same thing does apply. That's not
the Charlie Brown teacher thing started happening. I was typing to somebody and I'm like, more. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean it's the same exact stat for both sides. So both of them looking to go
I had a 50-50 shot
as
and I picked wrong. So that's
all
traditional.
right.
That's my luck.
All right. So we're gonna make sure both teams are ready for the draft, and then we're gonna get you guys into the final game of the day on Twitch. Again, there are sister games going on for the other games on that are being live streamed to YouTube. These games that are on Twitch will all end up on Twitch videos, and then everything will eventually migrate its way over to YouTube, where you can watch any of the games from this season, last season, different weeks. Just go to YouTube and actually search for Prep Phase. Don't try and type in YouTube/Prep Phase.
Yeah,
All
don't
right,
listen to me.
so
I have no idea what I'm talking about. You got to type it in. Don't do the / thing. It doesn't work. But you can go to Twitter and at Prep Phase, all one word, and you can tweet out your predictions. You can say what you liked, what you didn't like about this weekend with the casters, the players, whatever you want to talk about. We love the input as well. Go to prepphase.com. Sign up your team for week number 3. We want to see it. And it looks like these guys are getting ready to pick their map.
yeah, they're gonna go, and I'm always a fan of people changing up the map. I think that if you play it 2 times in a row, you're giving your opponent too much of a chance to know exactly what you're doing, and you're just gonna go ahead and fall prey to the same things and give them a chance to react better than you. If the first time you meet, you're playing better than they are, then go under those same conditions. Don't let them react better. Say, okay, now here's a brand new map. Here's a brand new lineup. React to us again. Because we obviously outplayed you the first game, and we're going to do it again.
It's hard not to use that word when these guys are playing, isn't it? I try to think of a different one all the time.
Oh, come on. I try and use it.
the well,
Hey, there's a reason they want to call is that they think they can outplay their opponents. So now it's up to them to prove it. If you're going to call yourself outplayed, then you're going to have to prove it. And so far, they're doing a good job in a 5-7 record. I mean, start of season 2. That's a way to kick it off. If you want to earn your name, hey, put up.
Put up or shut up time. And once again, team captain for Play for Fun is Penta, followed by Nelman, Honey Badger, and Grizz. And on the other side, Outplayed is going to be captained by Road, Ask Jackie following him up in the lineup, Baby Millie, and Etheria rounding out their team. We're going to be on Evo's Lab, it looks like. Oh, yes.
Yep, so it was Outplayed's choice, and they did decide to switch it up. They said, you guys thought we were tough on the big flyway map. Go ahead and try us out on Evos. And this is one that a lot of teams do pick special compositions for. So we're going to go ahead and see the first 2. Rask and Helio banned out right away. And if you thought Lockwood was a priority pick on other maps, on Evos, very strong pick. Picked pretty much immediately for this one. So now the home team gets 2 different picks. You guys can follow along with our drafting structure. The rules are on the Prep Phase website. But the home team will get 2 different picks now. Do they steal Celeste so you don't get that Lockwood Celeste combo that is so strong? Do they make sure that they get the Zuki that performed so much damage last game? They are electing Gray, who has great overwall abilities in this map, as well as solid escapes. I like the pick. So Gray and Celeste picked up right off the bat, denying that for the enemy team. Does leave Demolitions open for Play for Fun later on if they want to pick it. Also opens up Outplayed to a 3 firepower composition, which are traditionally headlined by a Gray.
Yeah, Gray seems to fit into so many different categories. I mean, she's kind of supporty, kind of firepowery. She does the weekend she does the reveals all over the place. She's got the big AOE. She got the scouting with the Rio, the drone, and she can front load the damage with her basic attack and her ultimate. So, I mean, she's really an all-arounder. But Lockwood, of course, over on the other side for Play for Fun on this map, just has fun. That's basically all you can say about it.
And some quick picks mean that we're down to double picks actually for Play for Fun. They'll get to pick 2 in a row here. They've still got to decide what firepower they want, what frontliner they want. They will get first stab at frontliner. So
you got to see
looks
Asana
like-
coming out. I would say, Asana was very powerful for Outplayed last game. You don't want to let him have it again. She's easily one of the top 2 or 3 frontliners in the game itself. So
I
very
mean, this
difficult
is
to let
one
that
of the
one go.
maps you could. Yep. And we do see Asana, but this is one of the maps you can make a solid case for picking Garrison over Asana on, just with the ability to go exactly where you want, even into the fog of war. But they do lock in Asana, and they do pick that Gremlicians. The other side says, Titus, come on, you banned out. So Play for Fun dictated that choice almost because they banned out Rask. They picked Asana, even though Asana went very late. And Outplayed says, we're perfectly happy with Titus. Go ahead and give us whatever you want. Once Asana's picked, they say Titus right away.
Yeah, and Aurora to back him up. So 2 healers on either side, or 1 healer on either side, I should say. 2 healers in the match. And really, that's one of the strengths. Helio's off the board, but whenever you do see Helio in the game against a healer support, which is pretty much all the rest of them, he seems to fall behind a little bit because the shielding is situational. Sometimes they don't actually attack the person that you shield, and the healing is always going to work no matter what. So it's kind of a different play style, but Helio's off the board. I don't even know what I'm talking about right now. So let's see what we can do in this matchup. I actually like Play for Fun's lineup here a little bit better than Outplayed's this time around, just because of the Lockwood and the Asana. They got the Asana away. They picked up Lockwood, who, and of course Gremlicians loves this map, so it's hard to argue against it. I think, but I would love to see you try.
There's a lot of maps that I like Asana over Titus on. This is one of them. Titus can make a case for the big areas of the flyway and stuff, but the fire powers of Outplayed, I think, are just going to be super strong here. Yes, you've got the corner bouncing and the round corners on Play for Fun, but Celeste and Gray apply so much solid big damage in AoEs around corners in the right spots that you're just gonna apply more damage from the Outplayed side, I think. And they've got a consistent healer on their team as well. Finn can
5,
bubble very
4,
specific instances
3,
of damages,
2,
but otherwise has a long
1.
cooldown heal, whereas Aurora has a lot of it that I think if Outplayed plays this correctly, I think they're going to go the 2-0.
All right, looks like we have the wrong map loaded up there. The players noticed it during the countdown, so we just have to leave out of this one. Once we get in and redo the pick ban phase, they have to pick the same exact comps. As my understanding, they just need to get in there and make the correct map choice. So,
Mission starting.
like a lot of them abandon ship right away.
All right, so we're going to abandon ship as well as Ash Check. He's telling me in all chat, I got this.
It's going to him against the
All right.
world. Fine.
1 versus 4 Atlas Reactor is definitely not something I want to try out. So we're going to quit this one, and they're going to get the map back up and running, and hopefully correct this time. We'll find out.
When my friends started playing, that I'd been trying to talk into playing a different game, which will remain unnamed at this time, I used to have a lot of fun playing by myself on one team and 4 of them on the other team. And I would still win because they had no idea what they were doing, but that was kind of fun.
I think that's going to be super hard in Atlas Reactor, though. I mean, it's so hard to solo carry a game
Yeah.
in Atlas Reactor. There's only so many Outplayed you can do. Everything's pretty binary. It's not a Twitch game where you can just dance around the enemy team. So I think that, eventually, if you tried to do that in this game, about turn 3 or about turn 5, you'll be really regretting that decision as they're just pointing everything at you every turn, and
Right.
no matter what, you can't dash at all.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so many dashes you can do, and then all of a sudden you're surrounded, and like you said, not going to get pretty after that. So one thing I wanted to mention while we're waiting for this game to load back in, I caught on the Tryon stream from the other day. They were actually talking about they're not going to be streaming next Friday. which is their normal stream day to do all their cool announcements of all this stuff, because they're going to be at PAX West in Seattle that day. So if you're going to be in Seattle or you're near enough to go there, they're going to be in booth number 117 that Friday in Seattle, next Friday. So go check them out, give them some love. They said you can win some prizes if you play a match of Atlas at their booth and win.
4,
So I think that'll be
3,
pretty fun. Go check
2,
them out.
1.
PAX is an amazing event, and they're really showing. They were at Gamescom recently. Atlas Reactor's really starting to take off with all the attention it's receiving at all of these major events. You guys can go back and watch any of those videos, or just check on their website. They're telling them about them all the time. But Atlas Reactor, I mean, has hit some major streams recently, besides the PPL, of course. and
That's right.
Yeah, it is really taken off. So look for even more after that PAX visit. But you're absolutely right. They will not be streaming that coming Friday. That just gives you guys more time to prepare and watch these games. Watch last week's games instead. Spend your time doing that.
Right. Get your studying in for the teams playing in Saturday and Sunday. You got to watch
Mission
everything,
started.
see what's going on. That's always important. So
All
we're
right,
loaded in, guys.
Get hyped for the final game of the day. This time we have Play for Fun as our blue team, and we have Outplayed as our red team. We've already introduced the players many times as they've been on stream twice each today for 3 games so far. This will be the 4th game on stream for each of them, and they're ready to show us what they can do. Can they eke out a win in this final game?
This loading screen trolls me every single time. I put them as I see them, blue and red, and then it switches when we get into the
The
game.
loading team is swapped. Yes, that is true. That's something they might not need to fix. The loading screen will almost always be swapped.
I'm always thinking,
But here
oh,
we have
I'm going to get ahead of the game and put the team names up there in the right position. And
I'll
then,
give
no.
you one shot.
Anyway, go ahead,
This
sir.
time they're having Gremolitions actually be the solo flanker, and they're moving the rest of the team around to the right side. So knowing that Gremolitions has that really long double jump to get them out if need be, I hesitate to think they'll go forward even more than that, though. So pretty safe and defensive, pretty okay to be on the solo team, whereas the rest of the team flies up the right-hand side.
Yeah, Baby Millie getting way in there, sees Honey Badger, sees Penta, and they have an idea of where Grizz and Nelman went to. I was having a hard time reading his name. Sorry, guys.
And that's
But,
always the question. Turn 2, is Baby Mill gonna dagger, or are they gonna dash?
Right. And looks like Baby Millie's going to shield at least Turtle Tech. There comes the Dirty Fighting Dagger, revealing Penta and doing that little mark on him there. The Celeste Trap comes out, trying to predict that. Of course, the drone was already out. It does not pop Dirty Fighting, but that basic attack does, because it's new damage on the field that wasn't there last turn. Honey Badger throwing down the mines, trying to keep Baby Millie away from him. Nelman gonna root road into place and probably get that follow on the movement phase, and of course Theria running over that Lockwood trap.
So while they got a lot of little damage on the multiple people in the back, Road and Etheria, there was some massive damage on the Lockwood. And now Lockwood's gonna have to be either pretty evasive or go pretty low in health, just because there's multiple people that can see them at this point. And forcing that dash out early is so strong.
Yeah, definitely. It's only turn number 4, don't forget. Penta getting a little bit of health back from Dr. Finn, but he is going to be weakened as well by the Aurora, who's stuck over there kind of staring down Nelman, right where they don't want to be. But Lockwood is going to dash out of position there. Road throwing down that Celeste bombs, trying to keep vision to a minimum here against Play for Fun.
And almost getting a predict on where Pinto was going to dash, just one square short on that one. But now, again, Pinta and Grizz are in the middle. And really, Play for Fun here is making their home in the middle of Outplayed. Not always what you want, especially since Scrammalicious has been out of the fight for a while, just now getting back in range.
You know, I don't know if it was planned or not, but they did keep Grimo from doing a lot of damage just by their staying away from
Run
him.
'em down.
But the scream coming from Baby Millie weakening Grizz. And, oh, here comes the Ion Cloud.
Watch out! I get handsy.
Road getting handsy, trying to reach out and touch somebody. Gets Penta on Lockwood, but the return damage coming down from the Asana. Really doing some work over there in that corner. And Grizz and Penta trying to fight for their lives here, but it's not working out in their favor at all at the moment. Honey Badger going to throw down the Big Bang, knocking both Road and Etheria off to the side. Not looking good for them either.
And now the tables have turned as Road and Etheria are in the middle of, and with nice knockback and some good positioning around the side, they're able to face off. Unfortunately, both low health firepowers in the middle, but Road still with a dash. Pinta without, means that Pinta might go down this turn if they're not willing to catalyst out of this, and it's rough to use a catalyst this turn.
Definitely, and he is revealed as well. Keep that in mind. So even if he were to catalyst into cover or, you know, camouflage node, they would see where he goes before he disappears. So it doesn't help out. Dirty Fighting hits Penta, and the dash from Celeste hits as well, triggering the Dirty Fighting damage. So a lot going down on the Lockwood, like you said. It could go down here if a couple more things happen. Grizz getting a nice prediction on Road's dash. Probably didn't predict Road specifically, but hit him anyway, trying to hit Ash Jackie and Baby Millie. The drone, oh, Penta doesn't go down. Oh, Gray could have finished the job, but doesn't quite pick the right target.
That's why you stare down the enemy, and that's the heart of Atlas Reactor. I should dash out. Am I going to? Am I going to make you waste your ability, or am I going to get a freebie? And we've seen it several times today where they just stare down their enemy and go, predict me, and manage to live an extra turn or two.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's one of the things that a lot of, you know, high-level competitive esports players say is when they, you know, if they make a smurf or they get knocked down in ranking, playing against the brand new players or the less skilled players, so to speak, is really difficult because they can't predict what they're going to do anymore. They don't do what you expect. So, and I'm not saying that Penta is unskilled. I'm just saying that that's a good strategy against the high-skilled players is completely juke them. Don't do what they think you're going to do. What you should do is the opposite. And Penta's going to go down this time.
Sometimes it ends up like this turn. Yeah, absolutely, where they just do massive damage and completely take your head off. Giant sword.
Giant sword indeed. What are we going to see coming out of Outplayed at this point? They're kind of spread out a little bit, but really healthy, except for Road.
Well, this is one of the points where Road really shines. They don't have to spend turns, or where Celeste shines. They don't have to spend turns out of the battle. You can just get somewhat near the health and then grab it and run back in. Instead of spending full turns running to it, running back, it just saves you a full turn and a half's worth of movement by having that extra range.
Oh, the Gray drone coming down on top of Grizz. Is he going to move through it? There's Celeste picking up that health orb. Oh man, Nelman missing with the root, but is Grizz going to kill himself here? Wisely doesn't even move, so that's the effect of knowing your opponent. Had Ash Jackie had ultimate, didn't move.
And some people might have wondered why Nelman did get rooted there. One of the few traps Ash Jackie's ult there on Gray that does trigger off of passing through the corners. Most straight line traps will not trigger if you pass diagonally through the corner, except for the corner of the squares of Gray's ultimate, which will trigger if you go through the corner. So always walk fully around that Gray ultimate.
Baby Millie gonna scream and shout his way, and oh man, lots of dashes coming out, and then Lockwood Trap sitting up there daring somebody to walk over it. Honey Badger gonna throw out some Demolition Mines, but not gonna make his mark. Baby Millie taking a water pistol spray to the face, but oh, he's gonna chop back, but doesn't quite get through the turtle tech. Rio barely does, but is anybody else gonna do some damage to Grizz and finish him off? He's still gonna be stuck there, but he doesn't die this turn.
Grizz just able to save himself so much, and if there's not extra damage, well, the Rio has to do more, but I don't think even the bubble can save him. I think that this is a dead Grizz this turn. It has to be.
It's at least 12. It could possibly be like 40 something from the Titus ult, 20 something if he basic attacks. The shield is for 40, so I don't know.
I don't think they're going to let him live another turn, but we'll find out as the ball does go up. So he's actually up to 53 right now.
Oh, Nelman.
Oh, and he will. Yep.
Nelman coming in to save the day. Does get weakened, so that's going to save Baby Millie and Asheki from him, but not from Penta's Lockwood. All coming in from the side. Etheria is going to try her best to save her team from going way down in HP. That health bar is a resource after all. Baby Millie trying to take Grizz out, but it's not going to be enough. Here comes the bubble with the slow mod. And, oh, Honey Badger trying to take out some members of Outplayed. Not quite going to be enough, but the drone, oh! Grizz still right around the same health he started that turn with, which is amazing.
My gratitude.
Pinta dashed in, and there's now a half. Everybody turned and focused on two people in the corner of the map and said, this is now no longer one. You saw all the dashes come in, and I mean, there were so many points where it was dead alive, dead alive, dead alive. It's so hard to calculate out that. And that's why it's so important to play as a team right here, is one person different either way, and there's several deaths for one side or the other in that specific turn.
Yeah, I think if Baby Millie just Titus ults there, Ben still dies. He doesn't have 16 health left over, and he just goes down. But woulda, coulda, shoulda. Baby Millie dashing across the map, trying to survive himself now, down to 31 HP. Road's going to get rooted in place by Nelman, who has a massive shield on right now. Turtle Tech and the reflect damage shield from the ability Road, and that's why Road's going to finish the job on Grizz, but not on Nelman because of that massive shield. Grizz going to use that Finn ultimate only on Road. He does get healed for 10, but it's not going to be enough to keep him alive.
And if he was just a square or two over, able to hit multiple people with that, well, I don't think the 20 would have helped him, but a 3-person might have kept him alive. Unfortunately, not able to get that there. So now they're going to square off in different corners of the map. Baby Mill is going to have to spend turns running around and healing, whereas Ashjaki and Nelman are in a 1v1 battle. Usually favors the tank here. So Nelman's going to have to chase Ashjaki out, and Ashjaki has to figure a way out of this.
Yeah, Road using Turtle Tech, getting healed up as well. Ashjaki also using
So
Turtle
sharp
Tech.
you won't feel it yet.
Look at that super serious face there with that dirty fighting for Baby Millie. Onto the Grimalations. There goes Rio onto Penta, trying to get to that second ultimate of the match. Already in turn 12 is Ashjaki. But here comes the big time Grimmalation ult, hitting 3 members but taking nobody down low enough to fall this turn. Road's going to fire back with, 28, 25, but also catches the dirty fighting. Oh my, I was completely wrong here. A double kill. And it's 3-2 in favor of Outplayed right now.
And look at how important this position is to Pinta. Pinta would so much rather do damage right now that they actually did not grab the health they were standing next to last turn because they wanted to be in this spot to be able to guarantee that they could finish off anybody that lived with any health. So sometimes just that it's one square, but you need to find the right spot, and Pinta's showing that out with a very good positioning this turn, able to go grab it next turn.
Yeah, and Etheria trying to pick at people with that Ion Cloud, but Celeste on Road on Celeste does find the mark, but nothing else really happening. Lockwood, of course, ran over to that health, picked it up for this turn, going to get 10 this turn, 10 next turn.
And Outplayed still has a slight advantage in a 3-2 match right now, although both Baby Millie and Road are looking pretty low and could go down any time. So Nelman and Pinta here. So really anybody's game with 7 turns left to go in the final game of the day.
And I don't want it to be the final game of the day. Can we get like maybe 2 more teams out there that want to just start playing after this one? The games have been so good. Road's going to dash into danger, but avoid a lot of damage that way. Is Nelman going to predict it? He does predict the dash in, and with the basic attack does some damage. Etheria behind that cover, going to avoid a lot of damage from Lockwood, and the knockback from Road got healed up from Etheria the turn before he dashed.
Such a good combo. A lot of people don't think of Aurora's heal as a combo piece like a black hole from Helio or etc. because it heals and maybe it helps you disengage. But using it on somebody who's dashing, they're preventing damage, they're getting health, and they knocked both Nelman and Grizz out of cover and out in the open, put them in horrible spots. Such a good move.
Shield for a heal.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It forces the bubble and the shield to come out of Nelman and Finn, and Grizz on Finn. So a lot of big time cooldown spent just because of that one little heal. Nelman's gonna dash to 2 members. That's 50 damage total for the frontliner there that turn. Very nicely done there. Grizz gonna take some damage to the face. But so is Penta on Lockwood. He is a little bit in the bad position here. Big ultimate from Baby Millie's Titus going to hit him in the back. Nelman going to slow down Etheria. Etheria might be going down here very soon. Is it going to be enough? No, 1 HP remains on Etheria, but she got slowed and knocked over. She's not going anywhere this turn.
5 turns left.
Does she have she has a catalyst at least.
Do you catalyst? Do you go down swinging? I think at this point it's so late in the game, but none of your cooldowns are up next turn. So I don't know if you save it. I think you might need to use it here simply to prevent the death, because it's not going to help you later on, and it might win you the game.
Yeah, the most she can do is use her weaken. The Paralaser. Baby Millie dashing through, missing completely because she did choose the catalyst out of there. Etheria taken off. Ash Jackie taking the damage instead.
Caged like the animal you are.
Oh man, Ash Jackie's ultimate missing, trying to predict,
4
but
turns
not quite
remaining.
getting there.
But they do prevent anybody still. Even it's still a good ultimate because it prevents anybody from trying to follow and chase down Etheria if they were going there anyway. So now, if you look, there's actually nobody who can get a shot off on Etheria.
That's a very good
Etheria
point.
runs for the hills, then they might be able to live to the end of this game, and this one might have been won by that single catalyst.
Oh man, that would be a nice story to end on for sure. Here comes the dirty fighting and the weekend coming out onto Nelman. Ash Jackie kind of clumping up with his team over there, getting in that little corner to dash away, avoiding that root and that damage right there from the Grimulations. Lockwood trying to shoot into that cover, but not hitting anybody. Nelman's going to go down. That's 4 kills for Outplayed, 2 for
3 turns
just
left.
for fun.
And Outplayed's
Play for
really
fun.
showing you how well they play from the lead right now. And I think that this is actually kind of a mistake from Pinta to throw out this trap, because in this situation, Outplayed has consistently taken the lead and then gone back and just said, we can win if we don't die. We're just going to pick up heals, play defensively, get cover. We're not going to be aggressive. So there's no way they're crossing the middle to try and get an extra kill.
Run.
Honey Badger wants to get in there. Going to hit Road and Ash Jackie on his way through. Probably going to explore down on Ash Jackie's face, but Baby Millie actually predicted that move. What a prediction there. Anticipating an aggressive bombing run there. But the weekend mod on the mines on the ground there going to weaken Gray for next turn. Road picking up some nice health and a nice might buff, and eating some eels on the other side for his troubles. But he does have that big time Celeste ult for the next turn.
2 turns remaining.
Honey Badger can escape and is in the middle of the enemy team. I know that they needed to go desperate, and I know that they needed kills, but they also can't afford to give one up. And these better be some super defensive catalysts coming out, a turtle tech, because otherwise this is a death and this is game.
All right, Grizz actually going to throw down that Dr. Finn bubble on the Honey Badger. That may have been the plan. I can bubble you next turn. Go ahead and go in, sir. Road is going to throw down a Celeste trap. Baby Millie catalyst dashing away, trying to just survive. It is turn 19 after all. Etheria hitting all of her team with that big-time Aurora ultimate, healing them up by 24 pop. Ash Jackie getting hit by the shield, getting hit by the Grimolition Mom. That's another mod on the basic attack. The eels come in, almost finishing off Ash Jackie. It's not enough just yet. Road gonna throw down the 50 damage double shot ultimate onto Grimolitions, trying to hit somebody else as well. Not quite there, and Ash Jackie survives.
1 turn
So
left.
does Honey Badger, though, and it's still, we need 2 kills purely for a tie. Although they might get it, Penta has the ultimate up and available. Honey Badger has a lot of damage they can throw out, and Grizz is in a position to support. This is doable for at least one person. I don't see how they're going to get Etheria though, and that's the big question: is can they get that second kill, which has to pretty much be Etheria at this point.
Nelman's going to try to retribute some damage back, and a 3-man heal coming out of Drizz's Dr. Finn there. Ooh, big time 3-man ultimate from Penta's Lockwood takes out Ashjackie right away, hits the other two in the back there. That could give them an opportunity to take out Etheria, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. That's going to be the game. Outplayed takes it 4-3 in the end, so they're going to sweep this one as well.
All right, so Outplayed puts the question mark back in PFF's record as they prove that these experienced teams do have what it takes to just win out, and that yes, they'll split against each other, sometimes sweep or get swept, but man, are they strong. Outplayed goes to a nice 6-2 start, 6 out of 8 games won for their initial spread, and looks to be one of the teams to compete with here in the league. That's not to say PlayForFun is out of it, as they still have just one game behind and really showing that they are looking to make a name for themselves in this league.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Outplayed had kind of a middle of the road showing. And I mean, to sweep both of their matchups today, that just sends a message that, you know, we're not really screwing around. We're here to stay. We're going to go back to our season 1 form, and you guys are going to see the number 2 team once again.
All right, so what do we think for MVP of this game? We had a lot of strong performances, a lot of strong numbers. We saw Etheria again perform just excellently on the healing. We had Ashjackie's drones be on point all game. I mean, really, their team performed strongly all around.
I mean, I would go with Etheria, but I mean, their whole team performed as a unit, and that's the important thing I want to point out. You know, not one individual really came out and said, I am the dominant performer here on this squad. They all worked together. You know, even Rhodes' big damage numbers, Etheria's big time heal numbers, the big time damage taken numbers by Millie. I mean, it all kind of added up to a winning combination there. And it looks like we do have Baby Millie joining us for the post-game interview. Welcome, sir.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
A clean sweep this week. All your games, a very solid performance. I'm sure you guys are happy after that somewhat questionable week 1. Now, was it something that you guys did that turned it around, or was it the level of competition that you guys are always playing at your best, and this just happened to be a week where you guys got matched up well?
It's more about team composition. The first week we had some, well, not issues, but we didn't know who to play and stuff like that, but we sorted that out.
All right, so you had some special strategies coming in for this in terms of specifically what you wanted and what you wanted to ban. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, we're going like trash. Ban Helio. If you don't play him, ban Helio.
Always good people to emulate, and hopefully you guys will be able to rise up
and it
and
works.
take them down.
Because we mostly have a standard comp. So if I'm not playing Asana or Wesk, I'm playing Titus and stuff like that.
Always
Okay,
good to have
very
that.
solid there.
I was going to say, it's always good to have that deep champion pool, or freelancer pool, I'm sorry. So it looks like you guys are starting to show that. I mean, you guys did extremely well in season number 1. You're looking like you're going to come back into that form for season number 2. What do you feel like going forward? I mean, after your resurgence in this weekend, do you feel more confident that you were now than you started the day on, or were you always confident that you guys could perform?
I guess yes. We're always. I mean, it's a question. Yeah, I mean, it's just play good, practice a lot, and see what the day brings us.
All right, so some more specific questions for you on this frontliner play. We saw early on, you decide when you come out in the beginning, how do you decide I'm this big frontliner and I've got all these squishy little firepowers in front of me? When are they going to dodge? In other words, when should I dash versus dagger? When should I use my ultimate versus just a regular attack? We saw some points where either one might have made the difference in an extra kill or did make the difference doing extra damage. So how do you predict what those firepowers are going to do when you're standing in front of them as Titus?
As Titus, I prefer if I can have two-man dagger, I'll do that.
Almost
However, if I
always.
can
If
have
it's
like
a
a four,
two-man.
yeah. If I can have a four-man dash, I'll take a four-man dash. It depends how people are spread out. This start, I thought somebody was in the bush, so I daggered, covering that bush with it, but there was no one. Then I just auto-followed the first person in my view, so
Gotcha.
still have my dash for later.
Very nice.
So Millie, again, congratulations on double sweeping your opponents today. What do you have to say to your future opponents starting week number 3 off in a week's time? What do you say to those people that are coming up against you next week?
Practice a lot. I mean, it's team communication, positions, stuff like that. I mean,
You don't want these
yeah,
easy, man. You want the
just practice.
competition, is what I'm hearing from
I,
Peg.
I want the competition, of course.
Yeah,
Yes.
of course. Well,
I
unless
mean,
you have anything else.
winning with 5-0, that is just like, okay. Now we won with 3-4, that's more exciting for you guys as well. And for the audience out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, speaking of that, it seems that you guys took leads in both games, and then at the end, as soon as the other team decided to do some damage, you pulled back and saved the you just said, okay, well, we're just not going to die. Is that a strategy that you guys come into the game always wanting to do, or is that just how it turns out where you guys can get these early leads and then take the easier win by not dying than trying to get the extra kill?
Yes, basically. If you can, at least. I
All right, so
mean,
that is something you plan for, or is that just something that happens naturally?
if it happens naturally or not, depends how we actually play.
Depends on the situation, is what you say.
Yeah, it's situational. This game is this is a lot of situational game.
All right. Is there anything that you want to tell the people at home, or a point you wanted to bring up in the match, something that you want to discuss?
Not really, I think. I mean, play the game. It's a lot of fun. I have like over 2,700 games in already. I love the game. See you out there in the tournament.
Cheers,
Well,
Millie.
good luck
Thank
in the
you.
future.
Yeah, good luck. Thank you for joining us.
Yep, thank you. You're welcome.
Well, what a day. My goodness.
We had some amazing matches.